So the full-time whistle has just gone in the Super Cup final 2025. Tottenham Hotspur 2, PSG 2. PSG then win on penalties. Gareth, heartbreak for Spurs. What did you make of it?
Yeah, it is very deflating the way we lost the game. Everyone kind of thought that PSG were going to be the superior team, but fought for 70 minutes. Spurs were the far superior team in every aspect. They looked more dangerous going forward. They were better defensively. They kept the ball better at times. And then obviously subs were made, and look, a lot of people are going to look at Thomas Frank's substitutions tonight, but I mean, he's learning on the job. I think he doesn't really. He has to still assess options, and I wouldn't be putting too much blame on the manager. Of course, if he could probably wind the clock back, he may have held off on other things. But look, people make mistakes. The first goal for PSG was a great strike. There's not really much you can do about that. I mean, I don't think Enquiries made a save tonight. And that's how quiet we kept them. The second goal, we've obviously switched off a wee bit, but Chris, in the stadium, you felt it. Like once they get the goal back, everything changes. The whole stadium was mostly Spurs. I mean, I'm sure you'll see the photographs of the Chris puts up, but I mean, it was totally white. But you just felt that sick feeling in your stomach of not again.
It feels very disappointing to lose a game, particularly on penalties, but I am going to put a positive spin on this. I know some people might not like that, but we just went toe-to-toe with the best team in the world.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you. I think there's a lot more positives than negatives tonight. We spoke about the shape at half-time of how the three centre-backs really work well together, where if one went in, you had Bentancur, Pelini dropping back, so you weren't in danger of that high line. They were really, really well organised, and when they got forward in that first half, they looked really dangerous. And also set pieces, I thought we looked dangerous every time, from throw-ins, corners. So there was a lot to like. I mean, I think there's a lot more positives than negatives tonight from what I seen. But what really shown in the second half was the lack of options off the bench, and then that is an absolute killer. And I'm not going to blame the manager for that.
But I don't think that is that's not going to be an argument amongst the Spurs fan base, is it? Because we all know that we need to do more in this transfer window. Thomas Frank or whoever the manager is, they need more options. We need more depth. We all know that.
Yeah, and that's it. I mean, you could interview me now, and I could be jumping around the place if we had held on there.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't have changed my opinion on what tonight was. I'm giving you my honest opinion on what I seen tonight, and for 70 minutes I thought, wow, we look really organised, we look really dangerous, and this is obviously when you're watching the game, everyone seems to know, and obviously people that have watched the game tonight, but we've had a first row seat on, and you can see how the players are talking, communicating, how they're moving together. I mean, it's really, really positive. It just seems like it's so down now after what happened, but football happens and these crazy things can happen.
Gareth, all these games that I've been to so far in pre-season, whether it be in the UK, Hong Kong, South Korea, Germany, and now this game, I've been very, very impressed with Thomas Frank. And even though we lost on penalties, pretty much the first person over to the away end, or should I say the away end, because as you said, it was more or less 3/4 of Tottenham in there tonight. But Thomas Frank, he doesn't shy away, does he? He's just lost on penalties, but he comes over, applauds the fans, and the fans really took to him, I think.
Unbelievable. I mean, man of the match was Dembele, who done absolutely nothing. I mean, I could have picked out everyone. I mean, Enquiries didn't have much to do. Don't think he could have done anything but the 2 goals. Porro was absolutely outstanding at right back defensively. Best I've seen him. Jed Spence had a great game. Van de Ven, Danzo and Romero were excellent. The midfield, I thought Bentancur was outstanding, I thought. Sarr was good when he was going forward at times. And Kudos was a threat all the time. Richarlison, who I'm not a big... I thought he worked really hard.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there was so much they like about tonight. It's just so disappointing how the result went. I mean, I don't want to offend it, but I thought we played a lot better tonight than we did in Bilbao, even though we won in Bilbao. I thought there was a lot more to like, a lot more patterns, a lot more cohesive, a lot more communication. A lot of really good things tonight, but the manager needs massive backing now in the market. And if he doesn't get the backing, then, as I said on the podcast before, I'm not going to be sitting here in 2 months' time blaming Thomas Frank for results, because we had an audition tonight in a competitive game, our first competitive game under our new manager, and I thought it was really, really impressive. Really impressive.
Yeah, I must say, during pre-season I've been very impressed with Thomas Frank, but like we've already said on this video or other videos or podcasts that we've recorded in recent weeks, that Thomas Frank does need help. We've got less than 3 weeks now left of the transfer window. We're talking about Savinho from Manchester City, Eze from Crystal Palace. They would certainly be two great additions, wouldn't they?
Unbelievable additions. I mean, when you're bringing on, I don't want to scapegoat anyone. I mean, he missed a penalty tonight, and penalties can happen. Van de Ven missed one. He was outstanding all night. But Matisse Tell, you get the feeling that it's not going to work out here already.
Yeah.
The fans aren't behind him. You know, it doesn't look.
He's a young player, though.
He looks short of confidence. And I don't know. I mean, Thomas Frank arrives and he's been told that Danzo and Tell are being signed. They aren't Thomas Frank calls. And we've seen this before with our managers, where we do a loan, we an option or obligation, and the player comes in before a manager's even in charge.
Yeah. And
I think that's one of the biggest problems we have as a club, that who really is calling the shots. I mean, I don't want to go on a whole rant here, because I'm actually very happy with what I've seen tonight. Really disappointed of how it finished, but I don't want Thomas Frank to be an our fallen soldier. I want him to be the general of this new generation of Spurs pushing on, because you see it tonight, we're not that far away. We may not have the quality and the flair of PSG, but we can definitely compete with them.
Yeah. Let us know what you think of tonight's performance and result. Of course, very disappointing to lose on penalties, particularly that Spurs were 2-0 up in the game. But as I said, you know, PSG are the best team in the world right now. So I feel like Spurs give a good account of themselves. And you know, as we've mentioned on this episode and various other ones as well, including the Spurs Chat podcast, that if Thomas Frank does get the players that he needs in the next 2.5 weeks, then you know, Spurs could achieve great things next season.
And I must say, Chris, as well, I mean, I was at the Chelsea game, Ange's first loss, and the players were clapped off the pitch.
Yeah.
The way end, but the Spurs end tonight, after being so disappointed of how it finished, clapped all the players off.
Yeah.
And that shows you the kind of performance that we've done there tonight. Football can bring up crazy moments.
Yeah.
I mean, I was at a game where we were 1-0 down to Sheffield United and scored 2 goals, and I mean, and football can happen, so I wouldn't really blame anyone for tonight. Obviously there's learning curves on there. Yeah, if Thomas could take it back, I'm sure he would, but this is football and things happen, and sometimes the manager can only do so many things, and we've had the nail in the head tonight, Chris. Manager needs support, and we go from here. Look, new season, new Spurs, hopefully. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.